We've got one more clip for you tonight, and it's an interesting one. I'd just like to lead off with I don't condone any of the actions in this video. I don't know who this person is,
Uh-oh.
but like, despite everything, like, their actions have caused a lot of people to be out of work. I don't care about the economic damage to the company, but this put lives at risk. It put a lot of people out of work. It put a lot of livelihoods at risk, and I think all of us know how hard it is to keep food on the table and a roof above your head these days.
That is true, and I know what we're going to be watching here. I haven't watched it yet, but that is a really good point, and that is why one of my favorite books of all time, How to Blow Up a Pipeline by Andreas Malm, he talks about property destruction and how to do it a little bit more ethically so you do not run into that issue. Like targeting a place where people work is not ideal. In any scenario,
We're gonna
right?
get
Even
clipped
when
so
you're
hard
not
on
doing it
this.
for a good reason. But even if you are doing it for a good reason, you know,
Yeah.
there's better things out there. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, I can definitely sense that we're gonna get clipped the fuck out on this one. But
Fuck it.
here we go. Let's go.
Should have paid us enough to fucking live. You know, we may not get paid enough to fucking live, but these bitches dirt cheap. All you had to do was pay us enough to live. All you had to do was pay us enough to fucking live. All you had to do was pay us enough to live. There goes your inventory.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie. That was based as fuck.
Yeah, no, give me
Like-
that on a t-shirt. Like, what are we talking about here?
Like major Luigi vibes.
Yeah, that was partially why I said we're gonna get clipped the fuck out, because my immediate thought was Luigi. I mean,
And you know,
obviously I'm gonna bring that
we're
up.
all fans of Luigi.
Yeah,
Uh
the
and
video game character.
yeah, the video game character. And so like it totally, like, I get the reasoning for sure. Like, you know, we are, oh, and I'm sure this is something like what you're gonna say, James. Totally understand the reason, right? Like, we're getting to a point in time, especially with labor and, you know, factory work like that. I mean, we're living in a gilded age now. We're gonna start seeing another militant labor movement if people aren't getting paid more. Like, it's not that much. I guarantee you the CEO of that company is probably not even blinking at
No.
this.
No.
Like, let them eat cake.
Yeah. No, that's exactly what it is, because like we've reached a point now in this country where the fucking president of the United States is telling us that we can't afford nice things like childcare
Right.
and Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security and all that shit. But we can't afford this brand new war that he wants to do in Iran that we can't possibly fucking win. And asking for a $1.5 trillion on paper budget, which is almost double in the real term numbers. And people are seeing like CEOs cuddle up to him and give him all these nice gifts, and then he takes their side on everything, eliminates the CFPB.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you're going to get people that are finally saying, all right, fine, you said let them eat cake, and I'm saying, fuck you. I'm just going to, you know, cut off everybody's heads like in the French Revolution.
One thing before James goes. Luigi's favorite book was The Lorax. And there's a quote that friend of the show, Jay Gibbs, has the Lorax tattooed. I love the Lorax. I'm thinking about this quote getting tattooed. I love this quote. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not.
Yep.
Fucking feel that.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, look, and the other thing that they taught us too with Luigi was they said all those companies, like Blue Cross Blue Shield, I think was the most famous one. They were considering a new change where they would actually start charging for anesthesia.
Yeah.
And then Luigi happened, and then all of a sudden they went, maybe we don't want to go with that. Let's
Yeah.
just drop that. So they already taught us that, unfortunately, one of them getting shot in the back is actually pretty effective at making them change their shitty policies. So now more people are going to go, well, if it worked then, what can we make them change by setting this paper warehouse on fire?
Now, I am fully aware that I am not as far left as some of, well, your other two co-hosts.
I was gonna say as both of you.
As both of you. Yeah, I describe myself as slightly far left. And don't worry, Dan, I'll give you plenty of chance to push back on me. 'Cause I believe,
Yes.
I don't like capitalism, but I believe that it's a beast we're stuck with. But motherfucking Henry Ford, the guy who invented soul-crushing assembly line work, the man who inspired Hitler, even he understood that when he paid his workers enough to buy the product they were manufacturing, it was better for the local economy and his business itself in the long picture. And clearly, a lot of companies don't understand that now. And the problem is, and again, not condoning this activity, but when you back somebody into a corner so hard that they have nothing left to lose,
Right.
like, this dude filmed this and put it on the internet. He knew going into it that he was going to get probably 20 years for aggravated arson. He planned this
Yeah.
out to perfection. He lit one fire earlier, called the fire department in, because he knew that policy states that after a fire you shut off the sprinkler system to avoid damaging more inventory, and then he
Yeah.
lit another fire to make sure the whole thing went up. Like, this was a
Smart.
man
Yeah.
I have no idea who this person is or what motivated him to do this, but this is a man that decided, yep, fuck it, I'll take the 20 years. Like, you cannot push people to
Yeah.
their breaking point. Like, you wonder why there's a mental health crisis in America. This is why.
Yeah, and also it shows in how they price everything too, because they've just decided now. More to your point, like instead of deciding the Henry Ford thing, where they're like, "Well, if we pay you more, you
Which,
can spend more on our
By
stuff."
the way, all of that Henry Ford did was because of a militant labor
Yeah.
movement. Like,
yeah,
that has
he
to
didn't
be
want to
said.
be next,
Right.
and but like what they're doing now, instead of doing that, is they're just saying, "Well, fuck it, we'll just price everything for the wealthy and then sell it to the wealthy because they can afford it and
Right.
not give a fuck about everybody else." And that's why the price of everything has been steadily going up to the point where we can't afford it, because they literally just went gentrify fucking everything
Yeah.
for the rich.
And yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with you. You know, so a lot of your points there, James. And I mean, I do think that when somebody is backed into a corner, I mean, it's the same argument that I had with Palestine. Like, when you back somebody into a fucking cage their whole life, feeding them scraps or less, like, they're gonna go feral. Like, that happens in appeal to nature here. That happens in nature. That's just a function of like being a living thing. And so the fact that he was able to risk, he was fine with the risk.
Yeah.
And he
That wasn't even a risk. That was
well
knowingly.
right yeah, knowingly, like he knew what he was doing. Same thing with Luigi, right? Same thing with all of these people. And it's, yeah, I mean, his message, like, what he, like, you should have paid us enough to fucking live. And just remember that your tax dollars are going to killing people. They're
Including
not going
over
back to
100
you.
girls, Andrea.
So, unfortunately, you know, I would love to see things be peaceful. Totally. You know, I don't like war, obviously. When shit gets this bad,
No war but class war.
shit happens. Like, it's, yeah, I don't know. I'm glad nobody got hurt, and I don't, you know, condone obviously things like that would, you know, if there was deaths, I would be completely different tune.
Yeah.
But
Your tax dollars are going to kill people. A huge chunk of them are going to kill people in direct, immediate ways that make the evening news. But a significant portion of the rest of your tax dollars are going to kill people in ways that never make the evening news. They
No.
go to subsidizing companies like Amazon, who pay their workers a starvation wage, and somebody will die a slow death of malnutrition and lack of access to medical care. And it never makes the news because there's a million stories like that every single fucking day.
yeah.
And I think a big reason why there's not more support for the people of Palestine is because, from our perspective, some of this stuff sounds just ridiculous. Like, you have a lot of people knowingly going into attacks where they know their life will end. I'm saying that for YouTube algorithm reasons, you know what I'm talking about. And to someone who's lived in a Western country that hasn't faced that much severe hardship. That sounds alien. That sounds like, oh my god, that is a scary, terrifying religion. What the fuck? Nobody should ever believe in that. But that's
Yeah.
not what it is. You just have people that have literally nothing to lose and no future to look forward to, and then ending your life to possibly make some difference for future people makes a lot more sense. And it's got nothing to do with Islam.
Yeah, I mean, and I've said it before, and I will say it again. The greatest radicalization tool to all of you internet leftists that are watching, it's not reading Lenin, it's not reading Capital, it's not having a book club. The greatest tool of radicalization is real life experience.
Yep. It's what radicalized all of us.
Yeah,